So how did you get into SaaS or SMMA? How'd you get into it?
Yeah, so basically, I did my MBA here in India, and then I started serving some clients internationally in UK and Singapore. Oh, we started doing video productions. We were very good at video editing. I was a creator on Instagram. I used to create YouTube videos. I used to manage some top channels out here in India, and then basically out of that a video production agency came out, and that's where we landed up into social media marketing and video productions.
Hmm.
Now in SMMA, as you know, video is the crux of everything, right? Whether it be YouTube shorts or whether it be YouTube long form. So we started figuring out how the industry best edits are done, whether it be After Effects, whether it be motion graphics, whether it be edits like Iman Gadzi, or all the creators that you know of. So in India, we started offering that through SMMA. But we did SMMA for almost around like 2 years. And then we saw like there's a huge opportunity for software, because whoever comes for us to do video, let us say a client lands up and they say like, can you do social media for us? And I observed strangely, almost 70% of the client always ask me for a website. Do you do website for can you do a website for me? Where do we generate sales? Where do we put our website traffic? How do we direct the social media traffic to our website? All of these questions. Then I recognized that, okay, along with this we could also build a software vertical, which can be a tech team who can do website as well as softwares. So this is how it started. To brief you very shortly, we started with one project which was from United Kingdom, a guy named Chris. He came with an event management software requirement. Now, in Europe, what happens is like there are a lot of third-party softwares like Planning Pod and all that. So for event management companies, Planning Pod was one of the renowned software company, and people have to take monthly subscription and all that. So we started solving this pain point of customers by, I know we build this custom software where the client does not have to pay monthly subscription, and their operational cost went down. So that's how we got started. This was the first event management software, but yeah, then slowly we started. Now currently we are developing a marriage application software. We also build a property management software for UK and Australia based firms. If you ask me, it was just a random move. There was no planned move. It was just that I saw demand in that and I started building the team. Yeah.
Nice. Nice. Cool, man. So tell me a bit more about that property management software then.
Property. Yeah. So property management software, when you look at, right? So basically in Australia, there are property management softwares like house.com or MRI software. Now, property management software can be for three kinds of users. One can be the developers, those who build the buildings, the builders and the developers, and then there are the brokers, right? So the brokers basically are not so engaged in using a full-time custom software. It is the developers and the builders who have the budget for building their own softwares, right? So when we looked at the property management market, we saw like in UK, the property management software that we built was around accommodation, student accommodation. Now, students from India, students from all non-European countries, right? They come there to study, and they are in need of accommodation. So our client, I cannot reveal the name of the client, but yeah, our client, they are into providing accommodation for students, right? So in that way, we built a accommodation management platform first. Then we built a property management platform for another client who is into development. Now it includes a lot of features, starting from lead capturing, lead assistant, or it's a whole end-to-end functionality. Depending on the salesperson will have a dashboard, the admin will have a dashboard. So we figured out what is the requirement, how we can basically solve the pain points of people in Europe and Australia, but at a lower cost, because the cost is going extremely high for them. And in India, given that we have a lot of tech expertise, we can reduce the cost to a certain extent, right? So briefly, that would be the summary.
Nice. So are you using AI in that at all?
AI we are not using. See, AI we use only for small scale projects. But if let us say a property developer is into high end projects, we cannot take the AI as a assistant. We go through the traditional method of building design first and then development and prototype, because that's more. It takes some time, definitely, because AI will generate you codes and all of that easily, but in the long run, we plan in the long run. Now, for small projects, definitely AI. If you ask me for website, easily AI can assist a lot in that. Yeah.
Yeah. Do you ever see yourself kind of moving more into the AI age and putting more implement? I can't say that word.
Yeah.
Implementing more AI in your business. Excuse me.
Definitely. So, if you look at our video productions, right? So, for social media and video productions, we have 100% implemented AI.
Hmm.
Now, I can give you example of certain tools. So, when it comes to video editing, a lot of the time of our editors were spent in doing rough cuts, or doing the cuts and observing the silent spaces and going through the timeline, skimming through it. Even editing a podcast was a lot of manual task. Now with AI, there are tools like AutoCAD who it can be done just in minutes, maybe even in seconds, right? So then there are 3D tools, there are thumbnail design tools. So mostly in the creative domain, definitely yes, a lot of our clients in video production, we are using AI images, we are using Leonardo, we are using Ideogram, we are using, I can give you all list of tools, but yeah, Midjourney. So AI is definitely helping in the creative side. On the software side, I would say it helps the developer in research, in generating tough codes, or figuring out logics or structures. Design, not much yet in website or software design, because that's where conceptual knowledge comes into place.
Right.
But I would say, yeah, almost entire SMMA you can automate through AI, apart from the After Effects or animation stuff. The videos that take a lot of animation and a lot of manual work, where the taste has to be there, the storytelling has to be there. I would say, yeah, rest of it, definitely, AI helps a lot.
Cool. So jumping kind of from AI to something else, but something similar. You said you're using AI to post content.
Yeah.
So is AI running your X account or are you running that?
No, I'm not allowing AI to run that, but most of our clients, definitely we use AI to schedule. Now there is simplified. There are a lot of AI tools, through which you can schedule. Even reaching out to clients, there
Yeah.
are tools like Drippy.ai, where you can
Yep.
mass DM people, right? For LinkedIn, also same. We have HeyReach and other platforms, right? So yes, if you talk in terms of sales, 100% our sales team is using AI for reaching out to people. Yeah.
Awesome. So back to your X account, how are you deciding what to post? How are you deciding how you're going to grow? What's your strategy there?
My X account. So basically, I started using the X account for educational purpose, but then I saw, like, you might have also seen this. X is full of politics, right? So it is almost 80% politics. I felt LinkedIn is more educational than X, because in X you find very few creators like you, or maybe 30-40% of the population wanting to consume educational content or business content. Somewhere it's always a political content popping up, right? And recent elections and all that. So
Yeah.
if you ask me about the current content strategy, what I'm observing is that people are mixing business with politics,
Yeah.
right? And people are trying to ride on the trend of politics by giving opinion, whether it be about Trump or about the left side or the right side. So I see no wrong in that, but I think maybe I'm just going to try entering into that space, because there's not much engagement if you function as a silo. If you
Yeah.
do some sensational topics and all, the content matters, but still we have not fixed it yet. But we are seeing a lot of creators doing that, entering into that space.
Yeah, I feel like X kind of has turned into a platform where it's like, who can say the most radical idea about politics to get the most followers? I feel like that's kind of a thing. I think it's kind of dying down now because I think all the exotic stuff has kind of already been said. So it's harder
Yeah.
to break that barrier of, whoa, he just said that on the internet. But
Yeah.
I don't know. There's just so much of that. And you're right. It's just like, that is all over X, and it's hard to avoid that kind of stuff if you're like, okay, I don't want to see politics today. I just want to see this. Please don't let me see politics. It's almost impossible to avoid.
Impossible, right? True,
Yeah.
true. Even top businessmen, CEOs, founders, they are bound to engage in that
Yeah.
because the whole platform is becoming like that. So I think for business creators and agency creators, it's a little difficult because
Yeah.
there's nothing sensational. It's about ideas, it's about concept, and for new creators like us, we don't want to be sensational much. We don't want to be radical. We want to.
Right.
So people who want to speak ethical stuff, it's little it's little hard to get virality. That's for true.
Yeah. So are you posting on other platforms as well, such as like Instagram or Facebook or YouTube?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So for Instagram, right? I have been in Instagram since long time. We have around 40K followers out there.
Nice.
Uh, in on YouTube, we have around 10,000 followers, but we have paused YouTube for some time, uh, given business work and all. YouTube takes a lot of time to create content,
Right.
and I'm
Yeah.
not able to shoot that. But yes, YouTube, LinkedIn also we are there. I'm trying to focus more on written content as of now. So if you look at Twitter, Threads, and LinkedIn, if you write a particular piece of content, it can go for all these three platforms because these are written content. Now in Threads, Instagram Threads is also something I think you might have explored that, right? Threads.
Yeah.
Have you explored the Threads app?
Yeah. We have 70, might be up to 80,000 followers on there now. Yeah.
Wow, great, great. So Threads is somewhere like, we are also trying to build our reach. We don't have much, maybe 7, 8,000 followers on Threads. But yeah, we are trying to see how to repurpose the entire written content, right? Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's the best approach is posting on one platform isn't enough anymore. You have to post kind of everywhere. But
exactly.
like it's not that hard if you figure out how to repurpose things in different places. I agree with you on YouTube. Full length videos and long form videos just take so long and so much more effort than these shorts do, which TikTok really changed the game with that for sure, coming out with short format videos. But
For TikTok, like I'd like to ask you on this. Like in India, TikTok is banned. So I get this lot of requirements. Hey, do you guys do TikTok? So some of our team members do TikTok, but we use VPN, right?
yeah.
So yeah, but how is the TikTok market in US? Like how do you see there?
So we got monetized on TikTok. We started really getting big last January. So January of 23. And then they were in their original monetization program and it kind of was staying stable. We made a decent amount of money. We had a stable amount of growth. It seemed like a normal platform. But it seemed like after they did the whole banning in the US, which the banning in the US all it was they signed it into effect, but then they said they have 180 days or something like that. It was a lot of days. They had a lot of days to basically sell it or
Mhm.
change their policy. And I don't know what that even did. It changed nothing on the app in the UI experience, but on the creator end, we saw our numbers drop off. We saw our pay drop off. We saw just performance in general kind of just went down the drain, which I'm always the type that'll blame myself and try to learn from something and say, okay, well, what did we do wrong? But sometimes I think that TikTok is kind of just going through problems right now. So it's still functioning. We are still posting on it. We're growing, just not very fast anymore. And yeah, I'd say it's probably one of my least favorite platforms, honestly, but it gets views. So
Yeah, yeah, it gets views. I think the brand collabs and it is getting saturated because there are a lot of people out there right now,
yeah.
and a lot of content which is unfiltered. I think that's the main reason. Yeah, yeah. Yes. So what about, like, I see a huge YouTube icon behind you. So what's your experience with YouTube?
Yeah, so we first started back in August of 2022. And when we started on YouTube and TikTok. And so we expanded. Now we're on 11 different platforms. I couldn't even list them all unless I went to a list. We have so many. But so we're posting on all those platforms. But when we started there, we were posting 5 videos a day for a week, and then we cut down to like one a day. We were kind of like losing commitment to it, and there was going through some different problems around the house and just getting into the flow of it, it took time. But once we kind of got it down, we were posting probably 4 to 5 videos a day consistently every single day, just short format videos, of course. And I recently quit my 9 to 5 probably 5 months ago now. So it's my father and I mostly running it. So we both are full time on this, and we're able to dedicate pretty much every hour of every day to it. And so we're posting 8 to 12 videos every single day and
Great.
putting out over 100 pieces of content across the internet every day. And so, yeah, last August, about a year ago now, way over a year ago now, we got the 100,000, the play button back there. We got that. So that was pretty cool. And now we're about 400,000 on YouTube and growing steadily. So
Wow. So definitely what is that one piece or maybe two pieces of advice that you would say like that you have learned from YouTube, growing it to 400K, right?
2 pieces of advice. Let's see. First piece of advice, the most important piece is going to be that you have to do a lot. If you want to grow fast, it's like, okay, if you post one piece of content a day, you get one chance to get reach out there. Not only that, but you also are only putting one piece that you can learn from. So if you post one piece of content and you notice it did good, then you're like, okay, well, what made it do good? And you can learn from it. If it did bad, well, okay, what made it do bad? You learn from that. Now, if you 10x that and you're posting 10 videos a day, you have 10 more chances to get that reach out there, but you have 10 more chances to learn what works. And so the more you learn what works, and the more reach chance you have going out there, I believe in the mantra volume negates luck. So the harder you work, the luckier you get. The more effort you put into something, the more you're going to get back from something. So we have just followed that of let's post as much as we physically can until we run out of hours in the day to work. And so we've kind of, I don't want to say we've hit our limit, but we've changed kind of our strategy somewhat. We're still posting 8 to 12 shorts a day, but now we're starting to move into the 1 minute videos as well. So we're adding to that workload just because 1 minute videos pay so differently. They pay so much more. They do take much more time. They take much more effort, but in the end, they are worth it once we get them down. So we're starting to kind of push that mantra of the volume negates luck onto the full lengths as well. So that's my first piece of advice is just put out a crap ton of content, even if you think it sucks, because you're going to learn from it. And then that takes me into my second piece of advice, be willing to learn. Because if you're not willing to learn and you're just like, I don't know why my content isn't getting views, you're just going to stay crappy. You have to put it out there. You have to observe what's happening, look at retention charts, look at engagement charts, look at what people are commenting about, see what they're talking about, see how to get people to comment more, figure out how to boost likes, figure out how to do a CTA. All these little things you can kind of just start observing and you can learn from it. Watch a bunch of YouTube videos, watch a bunch of tutorials, even if it's the same content. Like I used to do gaming videos back in 2020. And I remember all day long, because it was during COVID era and I was in school at that time, but I was doing it from home. So I was just sitting at home all day. I'd get my schoolwork done and then I'd just sit on YouTube all day. And instead of watching gaming videos or something, I'd watch videos on how to grow on YouTube, and I would watch hundreds of them a week. And a lot of them would just regurgitate the same information every video, but now that's in my brain. And so we did that up to a point where we're like, okay, we're big now. Let's figure out our own strategy and let's grow from there. And that's what you got to do. So that's my two pieces of advice for someone trying to do YouTube is pump out a ton of content.
Great. So what you have said here, I'd like to add on this. So distribution, right? When you say short form has helped you grow a lot, right? The short form videos.
Oh yeah.
So are you also into providing services right now because you have gained a certain expertise over YouTube? I would say you know the platform well, and you know the mechanics of it, how the video gets more engagement. So are you out there providing your expertise to people? Are you giving services, or how is?
Not currently, no. So we post comedy content and that's all that is. We have plans in the future to kind of make pages that are more dedicated to selling a service. That's another thing with content is you have two types of content. You have views, you have view catchers, and you have sales views. So sales views is never going to get as much views as views views. So when you're posting a video, that's basically comedy is a big thing with this. Comedy, you're not trying to sell anything. You're trying to just make people laugh. That can hit millions of people. But if you're selling a service to, let's say you're in fitness and you're providing to people that are 50 plus that work full-time jobs still and they want to get in shape, you've narrowed your audience down so much right there. So you're going to hit smaller amount of people. You're going to get less views. Yeah. Therefore, you're going to make less money off of those views. However, it's easier to sell your service to those people than it is to sell to the comedy people because you're more niche down. So that's what I would say about the service thing.
Exactly. No, it's true. So because niche is always, so there's a quote by Alex Hormozy, right? Mm-hmm. The riches are in the niches. So niche is always about making the money and sales, but I understand volume and distribution is always about the masses.
Right.
So genre like comedy, opens up distribution hugely.
Yeah. Yeah, and I have plans for the future. I own an AI business as well. I build AI systems. And so I'm working on the organic content side of it right now. And the mantra is going to be the same there, volume negate luck, but I'm only going to be able to do so much. I'm probably not going to get up to 8 to 12 shorts a day on there just because I have to info pack those. I can't just make a skit. I have to info pack them. I have to make them way better than just a attention grabber that a comedy video can be. So definitely going to work up to at least 3 to 5 shorts a day, but it's going to be harder. That's for sure.
Yeah. I understand that. So shorts is like everyone is paying attention to shorts. It's if you have cracked the format, I think it's easy to create. If the editing style and the format and everything is created in the beginning, and you just have to create scripts and shoot, I think if it's a monologue kind of a video, it takes less time. Yeah. But if you're doing dynamic videos, including B-rolls, traveling and all that, so that would definitely take a lot of effort. But if it's like a monologue, information, kind of a video, definitely it takes less time. But again, depends on the kind of edit and how one is trying to, present to the audience. That's also there.
Right. So here's my question for you is, what is your biggest piece of advice for someone that's going to get into their entrepreneurial journey, content creation, SaaS, SMMA, whatever it may be? What's your piece of advice?
Yeah. So if you ask me, right, so I'm just speaking from a perspective of, let us say we are advising a 20-year-old, maybe you're a 25-year-old. So people who are at that point in their age. So I would suggest definitely what helps is that creating and understanding instead of reading and, consuming. Mm-hmm. It's going out there, doing, feeling the shame, feeling the nervousness, feeling, getting to know how a video performs, why a video does not perform, what kind of video triggers an audience, what kind of video does not trigger an audience, right? So that can only be, I'd say that would be my only first most important piece, because that's what has worked for me. I have seen work for many other people, and I have seen people who never thought of becoming content creators. But it's just that maybe 30 days of posting, they realize something in them that side of their personality could open up, right? So I would say doing rather than thinking, definitely planning is important. Definitely research is important. Definitely, knowing about what works on YouTube, it's important. But I know people who know all of these things, but still it doesn't work for them, right? So I would say completely doing. Maybe I remember one of the videos by Ali Abdal. He was one of the primary YouTubers. He used to say, like, you do 100 videos and then you decide. Same Mr. Beast used to say, you do 100 videos, then you decide whether this is for you. Gary Vee is saying. So I would say at least the first 100 videos, that is how I also gained confidence. So I gained confidence to create content. I gained confidence to create content for clients, to create a company out of it. It just because now I know that what works, what is there on YouTube, what is there on Instagram. And I'm sure it's the same for you. You have grown such a brand and you have gained that confidence by building it. Now you can speak about it authoritatively because you have done and you have shown and proven results out of that, right?
Right.
So Yeah, I'd say that would be one piece, and another piece would be like trying to add value to people's life. I see a lot of content out there not adding value,
Yeah.
from a space of empathy and intention to add value. Now I see a lot of people go with the first intention of making money, or the first intention of getting viral. Okay, let me create a hookup line so that I get viral. But if that content piece is not deriving some value, I'm not saying complete social message, but at least it should be, at least in the business domain, I would say it should be adding value, right? Not like there are a lot of sensational YouTubers, right? They give out content just for the sake of virality. But there are people like Neville Ravikant. There are people like, there are people who are giving really authentic content out there. The Future, I think Chris Do, you might have heard about him. So all these people, I admired him a lot. And I would say, yeah, young creators, if they mix value plus virality, it's a great combination. It's hard to do. It's extremely hard to do.
Oh
We
yeah.
have been trying every day how to create value, but value plus virality, if they can crack it, I would say they would be unstoppable, right?
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
for sure. I like that. And I like what you said about instead of just watching it and observing it, actually doing it and learning from the shame, learning from the guilt, learning from all the, it's like with sales, you get your first no, you're like, oh crap. You get your
Exactly.
thousandth no, you're like, okay, redial the phone, who cares, whatever.
Exactly.
So yeah, it's the same thing there. And I think Alex Hormozy says that he says, don't be a watchpreneur. Don't just watch entrepreneurial stuff. Be an entrepreneur. Do it. I think that's him. I think he said that.
Exactly.
So
These guys are really great. They have inspired me a lot, and the
yeah.
kind of content they put out there, I think every piece of content you can see value in it. That's the thing I notice about them. Every generic piece of content also creates a lot of value. If I
Yeah.
just go to the YouTube, we can easily see that. Yeah.
Yeah. So my last question for you is going to be a personal one. You don't have to answer it if you don't want, but what is
Yeah,
the
please.
most amount of money that you've made in a single year?
Single year, right? Okay. I don't want to reveal it to the audience, but I can give an approximate,
Okay.
uh, maybe 250K.
Nice, man. That's awesome. How old are you?
I'm 30.
Well, that's a hell of an accomplishment, man. That's awesome.
So, no, I think it's so revenue wise, we are trying to go more, but yeah,
Yeah.
we that is through software in SMMA in India, or it's not possible that kind of a money if you go through SMMA. But yeah, in software, definitely it's possible. Yeah, we are looking at more, but yeah.
Oh, yeah. Always got to look for more. I mean, I think that you're an entrepreneurial type for sure. So it's hard to be satisfied if you're that type. You can't stop. You can't stop. You got to go next level, next level, next level. So I get that. But for 30 years old, making that chunk of change, you're doing very good. Congratulations for that, man.
Thank you so much. So we are trying to basically build an education academy here in India,
Oh,
known as Skills Buddha. Now, as you know, the Buddha word is for awakening here in the East and across. So in India, there's a lot of lack of skills. So we are trying to build a platform which is going to be only for skill development, and it will be available for the masses. That's one initiative we are trying to come up with. But anyways, I know, just wanting to ask you a question, same at the same time. So what brought you into this content journey, and how I didn't ask you about your journey, right? X and how, all this. Yeah. Could you
yes.
please? Yeah.
My journey was when I was about 10 or 11. I started just consuming a bunch of content, just videos on the internet. Jacksepticeye was probably my favorite back then, if you know who that is. And so I just watched a bunch of content and wanted to just start posting. So I started posting just little weird videos here and there. Then I did a bunch of channels over the years. And then when I was probably 15, 14, I think. When I was 14, I really was like, okay, I want to do YouTube. I'm going to figure this thing out. So I started doing gaming videos and stuff. And so from 14 to probably 17, 18, I was doing gaming videos, slowly getting better, not really making any progress, honestly, but getting better, getting to know the ropes of things a little bit. And then my dad, someone recommended that he did content creation. They're like, well, you're a funny guy. Why don't you just post it on social media? You'd probably get some views. And so, we're like, okay, well, let's try it, And so that's what got us into the Guy page. And ever since then, it's just like, okay, I'm a content creator now. It's what I do. I'm a full-time content creator. And then I've always valued knowledge. I think that knowing a lot of things and being just a smart individual is always at very least fun to me. I like being in a room and just knowing things. Honestly, I like knowing more than the people around me. I like being able to just be smarter. And I know you can't always be like that. You got to be in the rooms where you're the dumbest person too, so you can learn some stuff. I get that too, for sure. But I like being smart. I like knowing things. So I'm like, okay, well, I like knowing things. I like talking to people. I'm going to start a podcast and I'm going to start talking to people that are interesting, doing things differently than I'm doing them, and just see what they have to say. And so here we are, podcasting. And
Great.
yeah, that's been my content creation journey.
Great. Nice meeting you, and thanks for this podcast.
Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you. And yeah, let's stay connected. I think we can collab in future and maybe meet.
For sure, man. Thank you so much for your time. I appreciate you.
Yeah, thank you. See you, man.
See you, man.